Hello, everybody. This is Brent Warner at EdTech.tv. I hope everything is going well for you. Today, I'm going to go a little bit more specific than I normally do, and I'm going to talk to the science teachers. But I think this is useful for everybody, so pay attention because it's good to know what's going on. So, science teachers, are your students' reading abilities keeping them from achieving the skills they need to acquire? That is a kind of a long way of saying, are they able to keep up with the readings? Do they know what's going on? I know this can be a problem for a lot of teachers, and it's getting more and more difficult sometimes to balance things out. And this is what's so great about technology. When I was at a recent EdCamp in EdCamp LA, I met a guy who was working on solving this exact problem. So today I want to introduce his program that he's been working on to solve the problem of reading abilities and lexical levels in science classes. And that program is BirdBrain Science. That's their little egg. I like the little logo, the little egg guy there. So BirdBrain Science is essentially a web-based program that students can log into, and they can get reading levels for all sorts of different science topics at their own reading ability. So they don't have to be the best readers. They can get it and they can understand what's going on because it focuses in all the key words, and it just changes the lexical level and it changes the grammatical complexity of the sentences depending on each student's abilities. So I wanted to focus in on this. So we're going to take a look at how BirdBrain Science works. The dashboard is your starting point. Frankly, the dashboard will be more useful to you as you actually start using BirdBrain. So we're going to come back to it in a bit so that you can understand the context a little bit more. For now, we're actually going to start here at the articles. And the articles are the real meat and potatoes of BirdBrain. So articles can be found under different units, so all you need to do is find the relevant unit to yourself. It could be evolution, chemistry, cells, ear and sound, earth system, whatever it is that you're looking for, it's probably here. So you're going to click on, for example, the ear and sound. And when I click on this, a few articles start to pop up. So if we're studying the inner ear in my 4th period class, I'm going to click on inner ear here. And then I'm going to go from the drop-down choices, I'm going to pick demo period 4. So I might go to this one and just only have demo period 4. Now here I've got a list of different choices. And so I can choose curriculum or interest. Curriculum basically means that's a required assignment. And interest means it's kind of something that I'm, possibly giving as a suggested reading. Now, free response lets for free responses on the actual readings instead of only just multiple choice quizzes. So you can choose to turn that on or off. And then, of course, when it's due. So let's take a quick look at the free response on the inner ears. We can do preview the articles, we can preview the quizzes, and we can preview the free response. So let's actually preview the article first. When I click on this, here's the article that will show up for the inner ear. You can see that it's broken down into different grade levels, and 3rd and 4th grade on this unit is the lowest level. So I can choose to listen in, and I can click on this.
Imagine you are sitting on top of a tree in the middle of a forest.
And you can see that it reads together along as it's reading through the writing. Now this is a fairly simple reading, so we might want to move up a couple of different levels. The 5th grade version changes to, imagine you're sitting up on top of a tree in the middle of a forest. And if I jump up to the 8th grade, imagine you are perched on top of a tree in the middle of the forest. And you can see that the quality of the lexicon as well as the grammatical structure starts to get a little bit more complex. So I'm going to close that down. And maybe I will choose for them to have a free response. So I can view what this free response question is here, and it shows up in your own words. Summarize the functions of the inner ear. How are these functions different than other parts of the ear? So and there's a little bit of an example, but here students can write in their own answer. And at the same time, they can jump back to the original article for a quick reference. That's a really nice function there, and their writing stays here as they're running through everything. So that's a quick way to make sure that the free response is something that you want to work with. And then, of course, you can choose the date to be done anytime. Now, a quick thing about the article again. If I click on previewing the article, and it says all these levels up here, this information shows up on the teacher's side, but not on the student side. So there's no need to worry about demotivating anybody. You know, if someone's a 7th grader and they're reading at a 5th grade level or something like that, they're not going to feel bad about themselves because that information doesn't show up on their side. And going back into the higher levels again, the higher levels do move upwards in lexical and grammatical complexity, so even though the core information and vocabulary remains the same, it makes it slightly more complex for everybody. So as they're going through, they might read everything and they might find it, a little easier for their level. And then at the end, you'll see a section that says "Take quiz now." So this is going to be a way to check the student's comprehension that's consistently measures the lexical level and helps the program itself improve at the same time. So all of this is an excellent way to help your students improve and engage with their topics. And for motivational purposes alone, a lot of science teachers should be pretty excited about how this works. However, there's a lot more going on with BirdBrain, so we're going to take a look at the back end where the teachers will be hanging out. Next, we're going to take a look at the reports section. The reports are a hugely robust set of tools that help teachers assess and justify their lessons. So you'll start up here and you'll see the assignments tab as the first tab. So each assignment that you've given your students shows up here and you're given an overview. Here on the left, you can see that the green, yellow, and red bars are here, which respectively represent how many students got an A, B or a C, or a D or worse. And you can also see how many of your students have actually completed the assignment right here. So it'll say like here 4 out of 10 have completed the assignment, and the average score. You can also click into any of the assignments to get a more complete breakdown. So if I clicked into here, I'd see the summary, and I can also see the questions and the answers as they're given. So it's useful for me to be able to go in and check the actual information. The next tab here is classes. And under that tab, you can get a full report of how each of your classes is doing, breaking things down by grade level and scores. And when you log into it, you can see the results for each student in the class. So if I click here on View Full Report, I can also look at each of the students and see what they're doing there as well, which is pretty useful, and I can get all the details and the breakdown on everything for them. Under the Students tab, you can choose to look things up directly by the students, so you could look at all of your students, and you can also log into individual students to see their overall results here. It's pretty useful. Finally, the gradebook is kind of your standard gradebook. It'll give you a direct layout of all the grades the students have gotten over the course of the semester, much like a traditional gradebook. And so you can just scroll through it and see how they've done, see what their final average is, and everything like that. Up here, the roster and the school, I'm going to skip those two sections because those are the administrative functions of how you would add your students to the class, etc. So you can watch those tutorials on the BirdBrain Science website to see exactly how to do that. So now we're going to go back to the dashboard now that we kind of understand the functionality of the site, so we can make a little bit more sense of everything here. The very first thing is going to be, as we scroll down, you're going to see the recent scores. The recent scores section will give you insight as to the results of the recently completed assignments. And this is essentially pulling the same information as the reports, but it also adds how well each of the students did in the core competencies here and the core concepts. So like in this one, it says about the sun powers it all and how did they do with energy, chemical energy, sunlight, stored energy, etc. So it's here for you on the dashboard because the most recently finished is likely the assignment that you'll want to be looking at. Then as we scroll up, we'll see questions to grade. So the questions to grade give you quick access to the free response answers so you can jump in and verify the learning. So all you do is just tap on that and you would see the written out answers, and you would leave some feedback here, and you can also score it directly. Here you've got the student progress. The student progress this month shows the changes and improvements in the reading. This is the demo version, so we don't see anything, but ideally your class reading will continue to improve, and it'll show you as the students are moving up. Of course, you're going to have newest articles here, so if you're looking, and hopefully you'll find something that's relevant to what you're actually talking about at the moment. And you'll also have a What's New section. So as I'm recording this, BirdBrain Science is working on their BirdBrain history version, and they have a Kickstarter campaign. So if you are a history teacher, then definitely go check that out. And I would suggest that you send this along to some of your fellow teachers in the school, because it might be really, really useful for them to have another expanded version of the same idea here. I really recommend that you check out BirdBrain Science, and if you're checking this out quickly upon the release, I definitely want you to go over to the Kickstarter campaign and give a little bit of support to a teacher who is trying to make a difference here and actually caring about the education. And this is not a corporate effort. This is just a guy who's working hard to bring you and your students a better way to learn. We're going to wrap it up here, but quickly I'm going to give you your homework. The first bit of homework is to go grab the cheat sheet at EdTech.tv. These little PDFs that I've been providing have turned out to be pretty popular, and so I hope you go grab one, and you can use it as a reference sheet or hand it out to other teachers who might find it useful. Next is sign up for a free trial at birdbrainscience.com. Like I said, this is not a totally free program. It does cost a little bit, but it's much, much cheaper than textbooks. And, this is an independent guy just working hard to bring a quality education to everybody. So it's worth the support, and this is the type of technology that I love to see being developed. Finally, if you're at time, go support the Kickstarter campaign for BirdBrain History. That's what Brendan is working on right now to expand the little BirdBrain empire there, and I really hope he's successful. I want to see more of this type of stuff going on, and I love seeing teachers working and building out things that are actually useful and based on classroom practices. So I'd love it if you'd follow me. I am at EdTech.tv on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You can just find me. I'm out there, and I'd love to hear from you. If you're checking out BirdBrain, let me know about it, and tell me how it's useful for you. I want to hear about real teachers' experiences. I am not a science teacher, but I know that this is built out and really, really going to be something that'll help you out. So that's going to be it for today, everybody. I hope all is well, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.